Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Superman 73 and the first story, Hank Garvin, Man of Steel. Yes, that does sound like a daytime ad for a contractor. Are there ads for contractors? Maybe a plumber, but he does sound like he'd be like in the yellow pages under Hank Garvin, Man of Steel. This is a very old-fashioned Superman story. And what I mean by old-fashioned, I mean like a decade ago, as we are currently in the early 50s. This feels like an early 40s Superman story, just with better art. As you could see from that opening introduction image with the title page, it sort of promises an indestructible person like Superman, but that's not what the story is. It's actually a con. So much so that I wish Wolfingham would just show back up. I mean, he wasn't a great villain, but if we're going to do con stories, might as well bring the one with personality back that I have some emotional investment in, even if it's not much of an emotional investment. I wonder if he's ever coming back. But essentially, Hank Garvin, who I thought worked in construction, but it's just he happens to be at construction in that first image, and the first time he gets hurt, keeps surviving things, except we never see him actually survive these things. We see him afterwards, like an explosion and supposedly being hit by a train. None of this is true. This is the first half of the story, is just him becoming famous for supposedly surviving things and people thinking he's Superman, even though he's a little bulkier and has brown hair. To the point it's ruining his wrestling career because no one will fight Hank Garvin, Man of Steel, if he's Superman. All of this can be easily solved by Clark becoming Superman and standing next to him and being seen in the same place together, which he never seems to think of doing or care doing. But hey, we have some sort of a structure. We've spent about half the comic setting up the fact that people think he's Superman. I don't know if we needed that much time setting this up. I would have rather had the whole villain scheme set up more. And it's just three criminals. I think they're supposed to be mobsters or racketeers, but their whole plan is to make people think this guy is Superman, sign him to CEO of this made up company they have, and then abscond with the money as people invest in it because they think Superman's CEO. At no point do they actually promise that he is Superman. In fact, they keep releasing ads that he's not Superman, realizing that people would be like, yeah, that's exactly what Superman would say if he was the CEO of a company. Once again, Clark, you can just solve this pretty easily. And I actually have a lot of problem finding images for this comic because, as I've described, none of this sounds very dynamic or interesting to look at. And Garvin can't read or write, so he can just put an X down. That doesn't lead to anything, it's just something I thought I'd bring up. So as I said, they're going to abscond with the money, but Clark finally looks into this and figures out what they're going to do. So he does something that he hasn't done. In fact, it really sells how old this feels because he then makes all of their fake investments, like oil wells that are not paying off or gold mining in mountains where there is no gold. And he goes around and actually puts this stuff here. So they are, in fact, paying out, which causes the other guys to escape. I should mention that some of the investors hire hitmen to try to kill Hank Garvin to see if he is Superman. Oh dear, we should actually take care of these investors. I mean, deal with the investors, not take care of them. Because it would be such a crime if someone pulls something over on the investors. It's completely fine to screw over and lie to the public and your customers, but my God, if you do it to the investors, that's the most monstrous act, according to the American justice system. And all it leads to is Superman confronting them, and they get put to jail, and all the money is paid back. They don't even make money, it seems, from at least the oil that Superman produced from their oil wells. And Hank Garvin goes back to being an ordinary wrestler. So yeah, such an old-fashioned Superman story. It feels out of date, especially after the last story that involved Superman fighting a creature from another dimension that he couldn't hurt. This is just almost charming in how old it is, but still not very much of a Superman story. Okay, that is it from Superman 73. Hank Garvin, Man of Steel. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video is up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? And how exactly was he surviving all these things? I get how, like, the explosion couldn't, but that whole train thing was hard to convince him of. Okay, have a great day.